Hello, everybody. It's 3:20 a.m. Central Time on the 31st of May, 2023, and I'm actually recording a video. I'm not live on Twitch. My internet has been shut down for the last week or more. Anyway, I'm not here to complain about that. I've got some news, and I have a pretty good feeling that a good majority of the people in the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers here in the Midwest and St. Louis area will be watching this video, as well as the families from the Jana Elementary School up in North St. Louis. This has to do with radiation. And the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers has released a final report on the Jana Elementary School. If you're not familiar with what's going on here, let me actually just take you back, let's see, to August of 2022. August of 2022, they did soil and dust tests and found a large amount of radiological material in fine dust around the school. And they didn't know where it came from. Contacted the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, and U.S. Army Corps of Engineers said they were going to look into it, but they couldn't find a source and said that everything's safe. Now, I think I've found an answer as to where all of this came from, but before I get into that, I have to show you where this all is on a map, because this really matters, okay? This really matters. Here's the St. Louis airport, and then the Mallinckrodt facility and the other facilities that made the radiological debris that went into the Coldwater Creek, which is this creek right here. All right, this is Coldwater Creek. It's got the name on it. Now, Coldwater Creek, the name matters. Well, here's the school, Jana Elementary, and in the school they found the radiological material. Here's the creek that was contaminated. Now, a story came out about 2 months ago, and I'm going to show that to you here. U.S. Army Corps of Engineers and U.S. government asking for access to dig up and excavate and dispose of contaminated soil and then to restore the area to a similar situation. So in other words, dig it out and then, I guess, dump a bunch of new dirt in there. Okay, this matters because of the location of Fort Bellefontaine. Let me show you where Fort Bellefontaine is. Fort Bellefontaine is right here. And here is Coldwater Creek. So Fort Bellefontaine is downstream from where the radiological came from. Radiological came from here, went up and around the bend of the creek, back down and around, and then back down and around and over this way and out this way. That's the way the creek goes. We can follow the creek back to Fort Bellefontaine right here. And they want in here to dig it up because of radiological that's flowed down from the airport. All right, well, obviously, Fort Bellefontaine is on one side, the airport's on the other, and we go around the bend of the creek right here, and the school is right there at the bend of the creek, where a lot of sediment is going to be deposited as the flow of the river goes around the curves and goes back over to the east and down. Now, they said that they've cleaned this all up, and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers couldn't find a source for where this came from. But they are concerned about it being in the ground over here still, and they apparently said they already remediated it here. Already, they said. But where did it come from? I think I figured it out. First of all, this has to do with sedimentary layers. This has to do with how they remediate, in some cases, alpha radiation. Alpha radiation remediated by layers of dirt. And they'll put a lot of dirt, not just like an inch, but a bunch of dirt on top of it, and they'll scoop out the most, and then they'll cover the rest, and alpha radiation does not penetrate those layers of soil, and it's all good as long as people don't dig it up. And of course, people aren't supposed to dig it up, right? Right? Well, I think I found where it came from, guys. Well, I know I found where something came from. This was August when they did the test, correct? Now, look at our imagery date here. What we've done is I've gone back in time, not with a time machine. We've gone back in time with Google and Google Images. Gone back in time to 3/16/2022, a few months before they took the tests. We're going to zoom in on the school, and look what's right behind the school. Wow. Some kind of pipeline or something being laid. And they've got equipment out here, and they've got, looks like sections of pipeline. And look, they've dug up behind the school, and it's gone right over this far at that point in 3 of 2022. Okay, and that's our most recent image for 3 of 2022. We can go back to July of 2022, and you can see it buried. So this image isn't as good, right? I mean, the July 2022 flyover is not as good as the satellite image. And Google will give you the preference image of the best quality image, and you have to come in and kind of, play around with the images to get it. But you see, they took it up this far. And again, this is not as good of an image. Now, I don't know where that pipeline went or where it was coming from or going to, but I can tell you this. It's there as of 3/16 of 2022. They're digging up back here. And then it's buried here afterwards in July. So here's the deal, guys. If you've got radiological dust, guess what? It probably got kicked up by the digging of this pipeline. And then it settled in the school, and somehow maybe sensors or, maybe there's a detector somewhere that went off and somebody alerted somebody. Because how did they find it to begin with, really, if you think about it? Right? Like there's probably some radiological sensor they don't tell us about that went off. Like an emergency sensor for something, and it went off, and they're like, it's coming from over here. I don't know how they originally found it. I mean, what, did they just randomly think to go test the school? How would that be? Come on, man. You guys just think with your minds here. How would they know to go test to begin with? Unless, A, somebody got really sick, and there was radiological material in a kid themselves, shows up in some test, or somebody alerted somebody. Either way, in 3/16 of 2022, we are digging behind the school. Now, let's go back to the sedimentary layer thing. So, 50s and 60s and 70s, you got Mallinckrodt dumping all that crap in there, and then it flows up, over, and around, and goes out to Bellefontaine. We are confirmed with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers confirming on their own this contaminated soil, and they need to remove it all. They need to get in and dig over at Fort Bellefontaine because of Coldwater Creek and its deposits that have been, sedimentary deposits that have come out over time down there, apparently. Well, the same would happen at the bend of the creek here. Sedimentary deposits. Now, they remediated that by covering up with dirt, right? But then along comes this, and they're digging it up. And these people who are doing this pipeline were probably told everything's all good. Yep, all good. Yeah, that's the ticket. All good. All good. All good. I'm doing the bunny ear quotes now, Yeah, we're all good. Yeah, I'd have my kid go to the school. Yeah, I bet you would, brother. But hey, man, would you have him go to the school on this day? Or even in the week around it? Or would you guys be on vacation? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not trying to make light of it, but come on, dude. Let's be real, dude. How could the Army Corps of Engineers miss this? So, what about the workers who laid this pipeline? You think they're getting sick? Think they were told it's all good? It's not all good. Of course it's going to be in frickin' layers across the frickin' creek. Come on, they didn't dig the whole damn thing up. You know what they should do? They should dig up the whole thing, put in a huge underground pipeline, and just cover the whole damn thing and put big fences around it, everything. No trespassing, constantly have absorbing plants that grow on it, and not a person to be allowed. They should buy out each subdivision around it for another mile just in case any dust blows on a dry summer day, and be done with it. An underground pipeline. Get one of those Musk tunnel. He could just donate it. I'm sure he'd donate it. Come on, Elon. Somebody get the tunnel digging machine and dig a tunnel over to there if you need to get that water out of there. I'm just going to tell you now, though, that that's most likely where it came from, guys. Come on. It's just pure obvious. Dust and the layers of dirt here would be kicked up as they excavated and reburied it. Let's go back and look at the historical again, because there's July of 2022 and it's covered. And they still have pipeline laid out there for, further laying, I guess, down the thing. But then I bet there was a big stink that happened, no pun intended, Bet a big stink happened because a month later, by August, we've got our tests being done. Now, I'm going to stand by it. Those tests could not have been random. Like somebody got tipped off, or some sensor went off somewhere, or some kid showed up with it in their system and they wanted to find out where it came from. Or some adult. But how am I the person to catch this? I mean, I am the Google guy, so to speak. I am the guy who does this for a living daily or almost daily when I look up earthquakes. But when I looked up and saw this, and I see pipeline laid out, and I see excavating equipment there, and I see that it goes over, around, and right back behind the dang school, and it stops right there where they have the pipeline laid out right there, and then you come back a few months later and it's buried, yeah, there's going to be some dust kicked up on that. And I would dare say, when you're going down and you're digging that level, a few inches to a few feet, you could hit deposits of the radiological material that was either A, just covered up with dirt to remediate, or mist. You know, a really heavy concentration that was buried a few feet deep or whatever in a flood, and Geiger counter won't detect it because alpha radiation's only going a few inches at the most. And there you go. I mean, next thing you know, it's kicked up everywhere. It's all over the school. Next thing you know, everybody's radiated. That's why you don't dig in what should be a Superfund site, right? I mean, could you imagine if they had a school and a pipeline going right through, I don't know, the Hanford Nuclear Waste Facility over here in Washington State? I mean, we wouldn't do that, but here it is. Here's the Hanford Nuclear Facility with all its old reactors, and it's a Superfund site, polluted. And imagine if you build a school in there and put a creek through it. And anyway, so that's the source, most likely. I found the source, most likely. You guys can get this over to the Army Corps of Engineers. I stand by my findings. Well, I mean, my finding. I stand by the pictures, you know. The date is not wrong. It says it in the lower right-hand corner, image date. 3/16/2022. There it is. A pipeline's been dug up, or something has been dug up there behind the school. That would be where your dust came from. And then that would mean a few feet down, you got radiological material a few feet down in the dirt there. And that would mean you need to dig up the whole thing. And like I said, just put a pipeline in. Just take this river through its giant underground pipeline and be done with it. Cover it all up with a bunch of dirt from somewhere. We got a quarry right over here, maybe. You just pile it all up, and like you did out in West County, out here. This place. Malincrot did it out there as well. They took it all the radiological material from the place out here, which was right down here in Defiance, Missouri. And it was down here along the river, and they took it all and piled it up here into a giant pile, covered it with rocks, and now you can go hike there. All the radiological material was gathered and put into a big thing, and look what they put right next to it. Francis Howell High School. What's up with the schools next? Never mind. I don't want this video to go too far off the rails and have normal people start asking weird questions. It's the last thing I want. It's for you guys to actually have minds of your own. Why would you come to YouTube then? Sarcasm, guys. Look, I don't know what to tell you. How could I be the one to find all this crap? You know, I'm from Ferguson, by the way, so, you know, it is what it is. North County, show me, right? Like, of all the researchers in the whole frickin' world, here I come in, I'm like, oh, my hometown, my own backyard, stomping grounds. What's this fucking pipeline right here? Pardon my language, kids, if you're listening. There's an appropriate use for the word every once in a while, all right? This is adult use here. This is adult use. We're on the job site. We're talking radiological poisoning. There might be a slip of a foul word every once in a while, but from the other adults in the room. But children, don't do this in church. Don't do it at court. First of all, don't be in court. But if you're ever there, don't swear. If you're around your relatives and your loved ones, grandma and grandpa, be proper. But if you ever find radiological things, I think there might be an appropriate time to possibly pull up a few of those words out of the dictionary and just find them if you don't know what they mean and use them anyways. All right. Again, I'm the one to find it. Are you kidding me? Right? Of all the people. I'm the guy who drove across the country taking radiation readings after Fukushima, in case you don't know. NBC News, Channel 5 News, came down and met me below the St. Louis Arch to talk to me about my radiological findings. What you guys want to see it? I don't even know if it'll come up. Yeah, you know what? It comes up in a top search here. Hold on. Yeah, Channel 5 News, KSTK, back in 2011. I re-uploaded the video on a different channel in 2013, but yeah, here they are. They came and interviewed me below the St. Louis. There I am with my Geiger. Oh yeah, there's Lisa Zigman and the camera person. And then they interviewed me, and I'm on Nightly News. I got that on my channel if you want to see it, but I recorded my own video here. Their video is probably copyrighted. My video of them recording me isn't. Anyway, I drove across the country taking radiation readings, and you can see all my radiation tests from everywhere across the country. I went Nebraska. I went all the way from the East Coast all the way to the shores of the West Coast. So for me to be the one to find this behind Jana Elementary is beyond insane. It's crazy. There it is. All you got to do is a little bit of sleuthing. Look stuff up yourself. Stop asking the professionals. My God, the professionals, what happened to them? It's like they all got possessed or something. This is St. Louis, right? Like, you know, the story of The Exorcist. It's all emanating from St. Louis. We can't figure out why. What's the radiation do? In all seriousness now, let's get real now. U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, you got some explaining to do, dude. Straight up. From Dutch Sense, you heard it here. Of all the places. Dutch Sense says you got some explaining to do. They're like, oh yeah, we'll show you, Dutch. My power goes out, my freaking internet gets shut off. Oh wait, that already happened? Okay, alright. That's why I'm making this video now? Hasn't happened yet like that, but let's hope it doesn't. Okay, now I have no beef with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, but guys, come on, man, like, what, like nobody noticed the pipeline getting laid behind the school? What kind of bizarro world are we living in where a YouTube video maker has to find this crap and tell the people locally in St. Louis about it via a video? Where's the St. Louis Post-Dispatch? Where's NBC, CBS? What other ones are there? I don't even know. All the three-letter names. You know what those stand for, right? NBC. No offense if you're at NBC, but NBC stands for nominally biased crap. ABC stands for all bull crap. Fox, you're not clear either. It stands for focused on xenophobia. Ha! I made these up myself. You like them? BBC, British bullcrap. ABC, Australian bullcrap. CBC, Canadian bullcrap. CBS, well, yeah, complete BS. ABC, all bullcrap. All right, we're back to the beginning. CNN, completely nonsensical news. Yeah. Oh, I got one for everyone. We're done. We're done. I don't have much more to say. I've been going on too long. If you're up in North County, I don't know what to tell you. You guys need to hire somebody like me, I guess. I find somebody who's willing to do it. I don't know, man. I've got enough problems already. I can't. I'm just showing you. Oh, man. We almost need an institute of people to do what I'm doing here. Hey, you know what? There's a school for sale right next to the Geophysical Agency in the bombed-out, blown-out North Side City. It's literally probably free. It's a giant brick building. It's right at the pinnacle tip of the Star Fort there, where they're building the Geospatial Agency. And, oh yeah, do you guys know about that? That there's an old fort right there, and the Geospatial Agency isn't telling anybody about it as they're digging it up? That's a whole nother story. Ask the Army Corps about it. They might know about Fort Bellefontaine and the water. Never mind. I'm getting way. Don't ask any questions. Peace out, guys. Much love.